In a normal situation, maids are supposed to be cute and harmless, but what happens when they turn into ruthless killers? Hey, my name is Leia, and welcome to Anime Recap Pro. Today, we're gonna be checking out the 2022 hit series Akiba Maid War. But before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support, and with that, let's get started. Young Nagomi Wahira has long admired the sweet women who work at maid cafes. She moves to Akiba to work at the Oinky Doink Cafe, maid cafe, to realize her dream of becoming one. Nagomi and Ranko Manen, a 35-year-old stern but capable maid, are engaged as new maids on the same day. The other maids struggle because they lack experience despite their zeal for the work. A burly otaku threatens the cafe manager when he suddenly shows up because she hasn't paid her dues to his group, Creatureland, for their services. The manager gives Nagomi a chance to settle the Wuv Moonbeam issue by assigning her to deliver a letter to the competing maid cafe to escape. Prior to that, the management gives the proprietor of the ramen shop some cash and gives Ranko permission to leave with Nagomi. The two girls visit Wuv Moonbeam after finishing their ramen and learn that the letter was actually an invitation to assault. Ranko kills the head maid of Wuv Moonbeam with the firearm she stole from the ramen chef before fleeing with Nagomi and the other rival cafe maids. Finally, the two make their way back to the Pigsty Cafe. Traumatized by the night's events, Nagomi wants to leave, but Ranko locks the door to her bedroom and declares that they are roommates, preventing her from doing so. As Nagomi tries to make sense of what happened the night before, the Creatureland representative makes the Oinky Doink manager play a role of golf tee because she didn't pay her dues and is disrupted by the initial plan for Wuv Moonbeam. The manager, who is in desperate need of money, goes to a loan shark who demands the Oinky Doink Cafe as collateral before persuading her to wager the lent money at the maid casino, where she loses it all. The management declares that she's closing the business, but when she sees money in the till, she decides to bring the maids along. They may go back to the maid casino and try to win some cash. In Momo Poker, where she also serves as the dealer, the head maid of the casino offers to let their buy-in, but only if they are willing to put their futures in danger. As a result, most of the crews lose money at various games. The Oinky Doink team starts to fall apart one by one and ends up in a cage. Yumechi learns that the game is being rigged in favor of the dealer and another player, but she still loses. When the previous loan shark returns to taunt the manager and the Oinky Doink maids, Ranko shoots him with a concealed weapon, releasing her co-workers and starting a new brawl. The Oinky Doink crew then makes their way to the cafe as a grenade explodes in the casino, destroying it with a gas explosion. A man by the name of Kijima is in the area to offer Taraya a copy of a rare anime character. The Creatureland representative intends to challenge Ranko for a fake boxing match at Terra's Akiba Fluffy and Sweet Club to settle the cafe's debt. While the other maids serve as cornermen, the manager tells Tyra that Ranko will end the battle in the third round. However, just as Tyra is about to make the purchase, Ranko initiates the battle and prevails, causing Tyra to become enraged and shoot Kijima. Before plunging into the final round to save herself, the manager swears that Ranko will compete till the finals. Tyra presents Ranko to her ringer, a Russian woman she had previously met who had said that Ranko was too adorable to be a maid. Ranko responds that wearing the uniform is adequate on its own. Then Tyra gives Kijima the permission to proceed to the finals and gives Ranko the order to get rid of Kijima's body. The cafe manager and Shippon pledge their organs as collateral when they borrow money to wager on Ranko. The Russian says in her monologue that she would be a maid but could only pursue non-cute activities. Ranko plays defense for 11 rounds in the finals but is upset by the Russians' insults about her not being a real maid. Ranko then defeats the Russians in round 12. Ranko's note to Tyra, which identifies her as the real killer, is discovered by Kijima's men before Tyra can exact her vengeance, leading to a clash between the two sides. Yumechi finds the genuine figurine that Ranko stole from Kijima's corpse in the suitcase and sells it to assist the management in making a profit from selling organs. The Russian fighter Zoya, who Ranko faced in the ring, joins the cafe the next day as the new maid. Before sending trainers to each maid cafe, the leader of Creatureland publicly beheads a traitor in the group. After entering the Oinky Doink Cafe, Sano kicks out the manager and Okachimachi and assigns the ladies of the establishment strict new timetables. Sano tortures the maids for days, forcing them to fight, giving the tough task of carving a big monument to Creatureland on the roof, and demanding that they each generate at least 100,000 yen in daily sales. Shippon tries to lead a revolution against her, but Sano turns the other maids against her. Shippon decides to stay and dons new makeup that Sano likes after witnessing the fired manager and Okachimachi digging through the cafe's trash in quest of food. Shippon then attempts to escape with Ranko's assistance. After a week, Sano leaves the cafe. The manager enters the cafe with Okachimachi and a bazooka, followed by Shippon and Ranko. Shippon reminds her friends that they became maids for joy, not for money, and then uses the bazooka to demolish the Creatureland emblem as the cafe crew fights. Few days later, Sano visits the Oinky Doink cafe and discovers that everything has returned to its previous state. Fearing her boss's wrath, the woman flees while Nagomi wows the guest ramen chef. Narula suggests to Nagomi that she give Ranko a party for his 36th birthday because Oinky Doink Cafe needs money badly to pay the interest on the manager's loan. The other cafe staff, though, reject the idea. Nevertheless, Ranko and Nagomi continue to organize a birthday party and make an effort to draw guests by going to a Creatureland subsidiary called Cafe Sheep. However, Ranko and Nagomi leave after being humiliated by the maid, Kuroko, and her customers. Ranko calls her prior job as a tea house employee in 1985 when she followed a non-violent code of conduct. Kuroko and a couple of sheep maids immediately attack Ranko and Nagomi. For their concurrent birthday festivities, Kuroko holds them both hostage and forces them into a massive barrel where she plans to drown them. Ranko explains to Nagomi that she spent 14 years in the joint for her misdeeds and is grateful that Nagomi wanted to organize a birthday party for her as the barrel fills with tomato juice. After receiving a tip from Okachimachi to visit the Cafe Sheep, the other Oinky Doink maids rush past the sheep maids to abruptly release the two. The group then discloses their surprise party for Ranko as Okachimachi gives the manager the entire cash box from Cafe Sheep despite having no other clients. Legendary maid Manami Yamagishi, also referred to as the Crimson Supernova, is released from custody and brought into the headquarters of the Maydelian organization. After chastising Maydelian's current commander for allowing Wuv Moonbeam to be destroyed, she takes charge of the group. Nagi and the debt collector give the Oinky Doink manager a deadline to deal with Maydeline's leader or they will burn her cafe down. Ranko and Zoya advise killing Maydeline's commander while the manager calls a staff meeting to alert them of the news because all other options will result in their demise. However, Nagomi is reluctant to fight since she feels that doing so will compel her to hurt Narula. The manager suggests that the two formalize their sisterhood and, with the ramen chef's help, Narula hears Minami instructing all Madeline maid cafes to destroy the Oinky Doink Cafe the next day. Narula warns Nagomi and the neighborhood police officer to dissuade them. Nevertheless, after realizing Narula is the mole, Minami and her helper, Miyabi, pay the officer and immediately locate her. The two find her hiding place about the same time as Nagomi and Ranko. Narula admits her mistake and attempts to kill Minami, but she is beaten and then fatally shot in front of Nagomi. The Madelines then begin to flee from the approaching police, and Nagami overhears Narula's parting words. Well, that's it for today. Will Nagomi be able to survive the cafe business, or will she be killed by someone close to her? Find out in our